you don't have an audience problem. You already have people in your world who know you, who are exactly the kind of client that you want to work with, and they're ready to work at your highest level, but they're not moving, and you just can't put your finger on it. Now, let me tell you, it's not the price, it's
Nope.
not the timing, it's
Nope.
not that they can't afford you, right? It's that something in your brand experience is failing to give them the cue that they need to keep moving, to take the next step. So today we're going to show you exactly what those cues are and how to find out which ones are the missing ones for you. So stick with us for the next 10 minutes, because when we're done, we're also going to tell you about the brand advantage assessment. And it's going to show you specifically where your power leaks are and which ones are costing you the most right now.
All right, so let's get into it. The monetization leak. So here's why your top 3% are not converting. So high level buyers don't shop the way everybody else does.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of buyers, the average buyer, they're going around, they're looking at price or looking at features or looking at all that. But the high end buyers, they're not looking for those types of things. They're looking at that authority. They want to know that you can do what you say you're going to do, and you can do it for them in a timely manner.
Yeah.
And they're not looking at how much that's going to cost. They're buying the solution from you.
Yeah.
And when they find you, they want to know that you're credible. They want to know, they're looking for confirmation that you're the right choice for where they are right now.
Yeah. And there's 3 cues that premium buyers have to have answered for them before they're actually going to reach out. So the first cue that they're looking for is really the clarity cue. Does your brand actually make it immediately clear what you stand for, who it's for? Are you at their level? That's huge. Because if you're being vague or your content is reading like it's a few steps behind, you've already lost them.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter what your actual credentials are. If that clarity cue isn't there to support you, then they're moving on to the next premium opportunity. And once you've dialed in your clarity cue, the next thing you need to think about is the congruence cue. Does how you show up online actually match the authority that they already associate with you?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have phenomenal YouTube content, but then they go to your website and it's utter trash, they've lost the trust, right? They've lost the safety. Or if your social media doesn't match the quality of the things that you say from stage, all of these little things are cues that are pinging subconsciously in the back of their mind that are helping them say yes or no to you, because they all add up to give that whole big picture of what your brand is. And once you've got that clarity cue dialed in and you've got the congruence cue, you're congruent all the way through, that next cue that they're looking for is actually the next step cue. Is there something that's obvious? Is there a low friction path for somebody who's already ready to say yes to you, right? Yeah. We've seen that problem happen so many times. You've had the conversations, they're primed, they're pumped, but there's no easy way to take the next step. So you have to spell it out. And I know it's really hard when you're already a high-level thought leader and you already work at a premium level. You think that the premium buyers don't need that next step cue, but we really do. We are all holding so much in our brains and there's so many things going on. So you really want to make sure that they don't have to figure out how to take the next step. You've got to have that next step cue already dialed in for them. And one of these 3 cues is almost always your primary leak. Like this is where you're losing them. They're not taking the next opportunity to get to know you. So when you do that brand advantage assessment, it's actually going to help you identify where the leak is and whether or not that's the problem that you have.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people take the brand advantage assessment and they're just blown away by the output that they get.
Yeah.
It's just spot on. Full transparency, it is an AI generated tool, but it is completely based on our 20 plus years of experience, our brand strategy.
Yeah.
And it takes it through that lens and it looks at your website through that lens and it picks out everything from how it's represented visually to the context of your content. There's a lot. So
it's all trained on our award-winning
Yes.
background. So
Exactly. Yes. And it's free. So
yes.
currently,
Yes.
we may charge for that, but it's free right now. But anyway, so yeah, the grab that while you're in there. So here's why adding more content and more audience is not the answer, because we see a lot of times when the brand is flailing or you're feeling like the revenue is kind of at a a plateau or something like that. A lot of people are like, well, we just need to grow our audience, or we need to throw more content out there. And that's actually not the case, because your top 3% are ready to buy. They're ready to engage. They're the ones that are along for you. They are your ride or dies. They are along for the ride. And they are literally just waiting for you to just tell them what's next, what's next in this process, what's next in this journey, because that top 3%, they've already purchased from you. They're way past the know, like, and trust. They are all in on your brand. And it's not even just like the offer. Sometimes it is a lot of times the authority, the brand cues, and all of that has to be congruent. Like you're saying earlier, it's got to be all baked in there, and it's got to feel, we keep using the word congruent, but it's just got to all feel so cohesive and so together. Because if you go to one place and you're looking at like the Instagram or the YouTube or whatever, and they're saying one thing and it's presenting this brand this way, and then they go to another platform or they're fed something through an algorithm and it's completely different, their subconscious is kind of like, I'm not sure now.
Well, you can almost
this and that.
Yeah, you can almost think of it like your favorite restaurant. Like if I have girlfriends that are coming in town and I want to treat them to a beautiful lunch, I know that I can take them to Restoration, right? I can take them to that restaurant. They're going to enjoy it. It's going to be beautiful. But if the location I take them to here isn't run the same way it's run in Nashville or in LA or whatever the other location is, then all of a sudden this idea that you have of this brand and of the quality of what it's supposed to be, all of a sudden it's lacking. And so it's so important that that sticks together. And I really think, Gretchen, what you're talking about with the audience growth is that there's also a difference between growing your audience and activating your audience.
Yes. 100%.
And deep down, you already know this. This isn't a new idea, but sometimes it just is helpful to hear it again, because growing your audience is adding new people. And look, we've been saying this for ages. Most of the time, you do not need more people. You need to have deeper conversations, especially with that top 3%, right? And activation, that's actually giving your existing audience, the ones who already trust you, the ones who are already credit card in hand, that's giving them a reason and a path to go deeper. That's you inviting them to the next level of what you're doing. And at the level that you're already operating at, activation is almost always that higher leverage move. It's that invitation. It's calling them up, right? And inviting them to go higher and deeper in their growth with you. And so activation, I think, is really the key to be looking for in your brand, in your conversations, and it makes a world of difference. And I think, Gretchen, doesn't that kind of lead into like the actual transformation that they're able to make in their brand?
Yeah.
And there's really kind of some quick cues that you guys can be looking for in your own brand around this transformation. Gretchen, do you want to point out the things that they should be looking for, where their warm prospects are most likely to land before they should reach out?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be immediately clear what you offer at the highest level.
And let me step back. When I'm talking about where the warm audience is most likely to land, when you're thinking about these cues for yourself, I want you to go to that place where your warm audience is most likely to land. For some of you, it's going to be a landing page. For some of you, it'll be your website. For some of you, it'll be maybe it's the DMs where you've sent them. So I want you to think of the questions Gretchen's going to run through from that lens of where does your warm audience most likely land?
Yeah. So the first thing is the offer immediately clear at the highest level? So we've got to make sure that, I mean, we all have opt-ins on our sites. We all have the offers and the things out on our service pages and whatnot, but it's immediately clear what you're offering to that 3%. Do they understand what that next level is for them? And that you have a very clear, specific offer just for them. It's got to be so tailored that they're like, oh my gosh, are they in my journal? Are they, it's got to be that dialed in. So we want to make sure that we have something that's immediately clear. And then, does this feel like where you actually operate, or where to them where it was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Um,
Is it outdated?
yeah. Is it an outdated concept or not? So you got to look at that and go, are you still talking about things that happened 2 years ago technologically, or even current events are no longer current?
Right.
Make sure that that is completely fresh and relevant to what they're experiencing right now, because as technology changes, the world changes, culture changes, the problems that your customers experience also change or shift in minor ways. So we have to make sure that the things that you're offering and the messages that you're giving them are lining up with what's happening in their day-to-day business.
Yeah.
And then is there a clear, obvious next step for someone who's ready? Because a lot of times we see the business owner or the founder putting out information about, okay, yes, this is what I do, and I can provide this transformation, yada yada yada, and then there's no like first step. There's no, do I book a call? Or sometimes they have too many options. And it's confusing. It's like, well, buy my book, or download this thing for my opt-in, or book a call here with my team, or there's all of these things. And it's just like, that gets me every time. I'm just like, okay, I don't even know. I can't, that's too much information. So we have to make sure that obvious next step is super, super clear. If you want them, and look at your funnel, what is the fastest way that it takes that top 3% person to go from seeing that offer to saying yes? If that's just a simple sales call with your team, then go that route. If I know that I can put a payment link out and my people will just directly buy, then go that route. You've got the data. If this is your top 3%, you should know at this point, how are they buying? How are they making those purchasing decisions? Make it that easy for that crowd.
Yeah. Well, and those cues you were just talking about, like the clarity, the congruence, the next step cue, if these are places where you don't have a clean answer, a clean opportunity for people, I guarantee you that's your monetization link.
Yep.
Like your leak, excuse me. Like that is where you're losing people. That's why they're not converting, even though they're highly devoted to you and your thought leadership. So really pay attention to that, your clarity, your congruence, and that next step, like Gretchen just talked about. And these are just kind of a starting point. This is a way for you to do that scan, to find where that leak might be. But that brand advantage assessment is really going to go a layer deeper. And it's going to identify, again, what is that power leak that's really costing you the most across your full brand experience. And if you decide that you want to map it together, reach out to us. We can absolutely, book a call with you. You can schedule that here and we can go deeper on that with you. But again, if you're looking for where's my first step, then I want you to start with that brand advantage assessment. And if the right people are in your world and they're not moving, the answer is not that you need a bigger audience. Okay. That is really,
or more content.
If you take nothing else away from what we're saying today, you do not need more. Okay. It's really about closing that gap in your brand experience. And that is what's making them hesitate. So I want you to go today, take that brand advantage assessment, find out exactly where your authority is leaking. And as always, I am Trina.
And I'm Gretchen.
And we are Left Right Labs. We'll talk to you soon, and we want to know that you are out there building the brand that you are meant to lead. Bye.